Hi, good day. Welcome to CMS. Now we'll find after CMS completed developing our schedule, we'll see how CMS will create and produce for us project cash flow. In schedule, we'll go for the cost baseline and cash flow. CMS will direct us for two main steps. First one, CMS will produce for us an expenses and budgeted cash flow which is related to our project budget. The other step, we'll see how CMS will create for us a cash flow related to the revenue and the net cash flow, which is the variance between the revenues and the expenses, as we'll see now. We'll go for the first step, the expenses and budgeted cash flow. We will find CMS directed us for this page. We'll follow the steps. Step 1, click to run. CMS completed step 1. Go to step 2. Okay, that's step 2. CMS will start rendering now. Okay. Baseline is ready. Thanks for waiting and go to step 3. Step 3. Now we have the expenses cash flow. How much we have to expense every month. The cumulative monthly. The S curve for the cost baseline. And also the progress baseline. What the percentage will be completed every month according to our plan. So that's the cash flow related to the expenses. Go back. We'll go now for the revenue and the net cash flow. We'll see now how CMS will provide for us cash flow for our income and tell us what is the net cash flow for our project, which is the variance between the coming payments and the expenses. Let's click. We'll find here CMS asking us to follow these steps. First step is to modify the cell as required. CMS directed us here. He is asking for the required days for payments receiving after issuing the payment certificate. What does it mean? Normally, after you complete your work every month, you shall issue a payment certificate as a contract for the client or for the consultant to receive your monthly payment. There is a certain period between issuing the payment certificate till you receive the money in your account. During this period, you have to continue your work. You cannot stop. So you have some contract obligation which shall be identified in these cells. First one, as we said, you put how many days the difference between issuing the payment and receiving the money. CMS consider it here as a 65 days. If you agree in your contract about any other days, you shall insert it. If you can do this in 30 days, insert 30 days. If you agree with the client or the consultant, you will do this in 90 days, you will add 90 days. That's according to your contract obligations. Second thing, we need to add the deduction which shall be deducted from your payments every month. If you took an advance payment, you have to insert the percentage of the advance payment against to the project value. Same as considering here you took 10%. Of course, if you have another percentage, you have to add. If you took 20, if you took 5, according to your contract obligations. Why you have to insert the advance payment? Because according to your advance payment percentage, the same percentage must be cut every month from each payment, plus another 10% against the retention. This also according also the contract obligation. Whatever you have in your contract, you have to insert it here. If you have any other deduction related to any other things, either performance bond, any other insurance, whatever, you have to insert it here. Accordingly, this percentage will be cut from every payment every month. After you will modify the cells, we'll go for step 2, which is click only to proceed. CMS will direct us for this page. What is this page? This is showing us the activities and the budgeted value for each activity, which is the amount which shall be expended to complete the activity, plus here the POQ price of each activity considering the deduction, which we spoke about a while ago. For example, for dewatering, considering here the budget value is 1 million, the POQ price considering the deduction is 906. What does it mean? It means the POQ price of the dewatering minus the deduction, which is the 20% of the same, equals 906, 800,000. So here is the amount of the POQ considering the deduction. Here we have also the planned start and the planned finish for each activity according to the planned time schedule. And here the payment dates, when you will execute and when you will receive your payment, when you will execute and when you receive your payment for each activity. This came here automatically. Now we'll follow the steps. Click to run. Go to step 2. Click to prepare. Okay. Then we'll go for step 3. Click to render. Okay. Net cash flow is ready. Go to report. That's the summary of the report. Here CMS give you a chart showing the expenses and the payments. Here the income payment, which is the green color, as we informed before that we took already 10% in the beginning of the project as an advance, so it shows here. And every interim payment shows when it will be taken. Against this, CMS also shows what are the expenses every month in this chart and also in a table and cumulative, showing how both the income and the outgoing will be intersected, and this graph showing what is the net cash flow every month and what is the maximum negative cash flow during the project. According to this, we'll have maximum negative cash flow with this amount. And by the table and the graph, we will know when we'll have this negative cash flow to arrange our funding. Like this, CMS give you a full picture for your project, how you will deal in the contract, what the steps you have to take to ensure minimum negative cash flow. By this way, if you cannot provide funding for this time, maybe you need to increase the advance payment. For example, if we have a 10% an advance payment, we need almost $9 million. But if we increase the advance payment like this, take 20% instead of 10%, we can see the negative cash flow is changed. And of course, all the graphs and charts are changed accordingly. And all this will be automatic. All this will help you to take a proper decision according to your project and according to your financial and funding from your sources. That's how CMS creates a full cash flow for your project automatically. The next output from CMS is the Manpower Histogram. Also, by following the steps, click to run. Go to step 2. Click to render. CMS gives us a full manpower histogram for all civil manpower: carpenters, steel fixers, masons, tile fixers, plasterers, and for the total civil. For example, here for carpenter, we have for each week how many manpower we need every day. Steel fixers, the same. Masons, the same. How many masons and along with their labor. Tile fixers, how many tile fixers along with their labor. Plasterers, and that's the total civil manpower during your project. and this will be reduced by CMS automatically. According to this manpower histogram, you can determine the capacity of the company which are required to implement this project. You can determine also the manpower which are required to implement this project in your company. And as we saw, all this will come to you automatically by CMS. Now all the output for scheduling are completed. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.